What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Secrets of the Fit and Successful. This is the podcast for you if you want to have a fit and successful life. Very simple. Let's get right into it. Today we're talking about what kind of person are you? And I don't mean this in like a, what team do you like to root for or, where are you from? No, I mean a deeper level. What kind of person are you? Specifically, what are your weaknesses? And we're going to hop right into it. The reason why you want to identify right off the bat and be very honest with what your weaknesses are is that kind of honesty is what you need to be successful. The most successful people in life, the most successful people you're going to see in this world are radically honest with themselves, because that allows you very quickly to get to the bottom of what's holding you back and then obviously overcome that and start moving forward. You see, no one's perfect, so we relate to people who we see struggling with things that we know deep down we are also struggling with. And in turn, because we relate to them, we want to support them. We want to see them overcome that, because on the inside, we're rooting for ourselves to overcome that too. And the mere fact of watching someone else overcome a struggle we know we have, it proves that it's possible. Because if they can do it, why can't we? So if you want to be successful, the way to that isn't to show people how you're perfect. It's to show people where you're not perfect, but how you've still been able to do what you've done in spite of that, and how you've been able to overcome that. So our ability to address our shortcomings, it's going to allow us to overcome exactly what's holding us back, right? If you have an underlying shortcoming that you refuse to acknowledge, whether it be ego, whether it just be the inability to do some soul searching and see that, it's going to always be in between you and the true potential you have, the true success you could see. So if you really want to maximize your success, if you want to expedite your road to success and get there quicker, the quickest thing you can do to do that is start getting radically honest. Start getting radically honest with yourself and where you have shortcomings. So I'll go first. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about mine. I basically see that I have three main shortcomings. And I'm going to preface this with, I'm not talking about shortcomings that I've overcome and that I no longer struggle with. In fact, I don't believe there's such a thing as struggles that we overcome and we never struggle with again. Any struggle you have, it's going to be something that you battle with for life. You could always go back to it. It's always there. It's something that you're probably more susceptible to than others because it is one of your shortcomings. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I've overcome any of this. I've just merely gotten better at knowing it's something that I tend to do and addressing it and choosing to fight back against it. So number one, fear of judgment. Number two, procrastination. And number three, perfectionism. Those are my three main vices when it comes to business, when it comes to getting stuff done. Obviously, fear of judgment. I think that's pretty relatable for everyone. If you don't have that, you're a pretty unique person because we're human. We tend to be afraid of what other people are going to think of us. We want to fit in. We want to be accepted. We're social beings. We want to be part of the group. And when we do something that maybe steps outside of what everyone else is doing a little bit, when we take that little bit of a risk, we're worried about losing that kind of acceptance standing within our group, within society. And that can be scary. And it's just a natural instinct we have. But you have to realize that I don't think people care as much as we think they do. We can do a lot more, and people want you to do a lot more. That's why people always celebrate the wins. They celebrate the people who go out there and they're like, look at Elon Musk. Look at all of these entrepreneurs who have gone out there and they got outside the norm and they worked and they did what others couldn't. And now they're at this, we idolize them, we put them on a pedestal. I guarantee you, when they were just starting, people didn't do that. People didn't think that way about them. And I'm sure they felt the same fear that you and I feel when we're starting something. Am I going to be judged? Am I going to no longer be accepted by people? And they probably ran into some times when they weren't accepted by people anymore. But the point is they got over that. They realized that and they made the conscious choice to do what they wanted to do what they knew they were meant to do, their purpose, without worrying about what other people were going to think. So that was the first thing that I really struggled with, that I had to get over, was what are people going to think? A little backstory about me. I quit my job just about a year ago to go full-time as an online entrepreneur, to go full-time in coaching people online. And the main thing that held me back from doing that sooner was fear of what people are going to think. What are my parents going to say? What's my family going to say? What's my wife going to say? Are they going to think I'm crazy? Some of them did it first. But I knew deep down this is what I was meant to do. This is what I wanted to do. And so it took me longer than I want to admit, right? I, looking back at it, would have loved to have just right out of college gotten right into this. But instead, I was worried about what people were going to think of me. So I went down that safe route of getting a job and working a 9 to 5 and kind of taking that safe route out. And I knew I was good enough to do that, and I could have done that for the rest of my life. And in fact, if I never got over the fear of what people were going to think, I probably would still be there doing that. But I knew deep down I was meant for something more, that I had this purpose that I wanted to fulfill. And it took me 3 years to get over it, but after about 2.5, 3 years in corporate, I got over it and I said, you know what? I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. I know that I'm meant to do this. And that's when we get into the next two, right? Procrastination and perfectionism. And these two go hand in hand for me. And I catch myself doing this all the time. I believe, and again, it goes back to fear of judgment, right? I don't want to have people think I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want people to think that I'm not good at something. And so I want to have it set up perfectly before I get into it. And by doing that, by being so focused on perfectionism, by being so focused on being perfect at it, I'm in fact procrastinating on just starting it. And I'm doing that because I'm afraid of what people are going to think. So you can kind of see how all three of these work together to stunt my growth in business, to stop me from being able to get out and help people. And this podcast would not be happening today if it wasn't for me being able to realize these three things and overcome them. You see, the most difficult thing is not identifying like one of them. It's identifying all of the different variables that play into why you might not be doing something. You see, if I just thought it was fear, then I would think that, me being a perfectionist about getting this going, I'm no longer scared of what people are going to think of it. I'm doing it. But if I didn't realize that being a perfectionist and focusing so heavily on, I have to have everything set up perfectly, if I didn't realize that that was a form of procrastination, then it still would never have gotten done, and it would just be my fear of judgment hiding in another little vice. So that's me. That's my story. And it took a lot of soul searching. It takes a lot of honesty, right? That's not easy to realize. It's not easy to talk about, You want to think, you want to seem like you have it all together. But guess what? People are going to relate to you more, and people will appreciate it more with whatever you do in life, whatever you are trying to help people with. If you're just honest with them and you let them know you're just like them, it gives them hope. It gave me hope. I liked seeing people who talked about their struggles and talked about how they overcame them and how they're still overcoming them. That's what got me into this. So for me, I think the real challenge was to not just identify them, but then get honest with myself about how do I hold myself accountable? How do I get over it, right? And so I went outside myself like we talked about yesterday. You have to have a why that goes outside yourself. I love coaching. I love helping people. My favorite moment in life is when you see someone and it just, you're watching it click. Everything you've been talking to them about, everything you've been trying to help them with, you see that moment when they light up and they're like, oh my gosh, I get it. Or even better, when they've gotten it and they've implemented it and they see those results start to kick in and they realize their life's never going to be the same. And for some small portion of that, that's you. Like you helped with that in some small way. And that why, it's different. It's not that, money is not what drives me, right? I would love to be very financially successful in life. I would love to have a nice house, drive a nice car, go on nice vacations. But that monetary goal is not what drives me. That's not my outside why, my existential why. That why that drives me is seeing that light in people's eyes. when you know you've done something because you got outside of your fear, your procrastination, your perfectionism to help them, to inspire them to do something more, and you've seen them make a tangible change in your life. You know their life's on a different path now, and it's in some small part you who helped them do that. So for me, when I ask what kind of person are you, I am someone who's afraid to fail. I'm someone who often procrastinates, and I'm someone who struggles with perfectionism. But I am also a successful fitness coach, a successful online trainer. I am also someone who got over their fear of failure. I am someone who got past their perfectionism and their procrastination. In 2021, I started more projects and more companies than I have in my entire life, simply because I wanted to prove to myself that this was going to be the year that I started putting all of this behind me. And no matter how messy the action was, no matter how unperfect the process was, I was just going to get it underway. And I think that's the best decision I've ever made, because I looked at myself. I got solid on my why. I got solid on who I was, and it sucked, but I got radically honest with where my faults were and my shortcomings, and I took that and made it a powerful, powerful backing for my success. Because now I know I can catch myself. I can call myself out when I'm doing any one of those three things, because I've identified them, and I identify as those are parts of me. I don't run from them. I don't hide from them. If I do that, I'm going to end up letting them have control again. Because I identify with them, and I'm not ashamed to identify with them, because I know that they're in some way a small part of me still, I'm able to identify when they're coming out, and I can let the stronger parts of me now, the part of me that does the work, the part of me that gets ahead of the procrastination and perfectionism, the part of me that says, I'm not afraid what people are going to say about me because I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm helping the people I'm supposed to help. I let those stronger parts lead now. So if you're out there today, I've got some homework for you. I want you to sit down and I want you to get really honest with yourself. And this might not be a one-day homework assignment. This could be, it takes you a week. This could take you a month of soul searching. But I want you to just go somewhere quiet, somewhere where you can think, wherever you go. Maybe you have shower thoughts. You sit there, let the water hit your head, and you just, you have these thoughts come into your head, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really in a thinking mood today. Maybe you're a beach person. I'm a beach person. I like to go walk on the beach and look out at the ocean and just, I don't know, that's when my thoughts come to me. A lot of my business ideas and stuff. Wherever you go, where you get your ideas, where you think, where you're kind of in that calm peace of mind, go there and do it once, twice, a couple times, and really get honest with who am I? What kind of person am I? And the more times you do it, the more revisions you go through, the more you'll find out about yourself. I still do it to this day. I'm sure there's more than those three things I'm going to find out about myself doing this. But the quicker you do this and the more often you do this, the more in tune you're going to become with who you are. And the more in tune you become with who you are, the more in tune you're going to be with how you can become the most successful version of yourself. There's more people who are like you than we think. There's only so many vices in the world, so many shortcomings, and there are a lot of people. So think about that. There's only so many shortcomings in the world, and there are a lot of people. It means a lot of people are going to relate to where you're at. If you do the soul searching, maybe you do a little bit of the soul searching for them, and your soul searching resonates with where they are, it's going to hit home, and they're going to be like, wow, this guy is talking, or this girl is talking exactly how I feel. And boom, just like that, now you're starting to change lives. So do your homework. Go out there, soul search. Figure out what kind of person you are. Not just where your shortcomings are, but where your strong suits are as well. And then start drawing up a plan to just be like, hey, you know what? I have shortcomings here, here, and here. Here's how I'm going to overcome them. Here's how I'm going to become better at this. And then start. It's the main thing. Just start. That's it for today's podcast, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Go do your homework. Go have a great day. I will see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Peace.